Welcome back to Straight Facts by Dinar Investor. Hey guys, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. On a side note, I brought you guys some generic details about this new automated trading software for cryptocurrency. I've had my own personal wallet open for 12 days. I have now included a screenshot for you showing you that you, with this cryptocurrency program, you get paid in what's called cloud tokens. They can be converted and used for almost anything. They can be converted into US dollars or converted into other cryptocurrencies. But again, that's what you're paid in, are cloud tokens. After having mine open for a period of 12 days, I have earned a return of $102, and here's factual proof on that. I am on track, and I have invested $600 of my own money into this wallet and this program. And from my $600 initial investment, I am on track to have a return of approximately $300 within the first 30 days. I cannot think of another investment opportunity that I could invest $600 into, and within the first 30 days, this will give me a return of an amount of up to $300. That's a very significant return. So I just wanted to share that with you. I am going to give you all the specific details on this in the next few days. I'm still putting that video together and bringing a lot of screenshots and additional details in, so you guys have a really good, clear understanding on how amazing this new software platform is in regards to cryptocurrency. Let's get on to Iraq. With Iraq, there's not a lot happening. I've put some news articles in this video for you guys on what's happening. Most of it's all demonstration related. And what that's showing you guys is what I've been telling you since kind of the end of August, beginning of September. Iraq's got very little left to do. That's why it looks as though Iraq is getting nothing done. It's because they have a set RI rate change date with very little left to do. I mean, right now they pretty much have to finish the formation of the government. That means they need to put the proxy positions in play. Get rid of the proxies. And they've mentioned they might do a cabinet reshuffle. And then the second item around that, which is the big one, they have to approve the budget. The budget will be, they're probably going to do the first reading of the budget in November. Then after November, they'll go on roughly a 30-day holiday break from roughly 12/15 to 1/15, and then after January 15th, they'll return and probably do the last two readings on the 2020 budget, finishing those probably around the end of February, beginning of March, somewhere in there. You guys have a great day and a wonderful weekend.
The Higher Committee for the Coordination of Protests calls on the Sadrist movement not to ride the wave of demonstrations October 24, 2019. Policy October 24, 2019 2210-2107. Baghdad Today. Baghdad. The Central Committee for Coordination of the Iraqi protests on Thursday called on the Sadrist movement not to ride the wave of demonstrations. The committee said in a statement, "We demanded earlier that the ruling parties do not ride the wave of demonstrations, as the target of these protests is the government and its parties, what they want." She added, "The talk here is directed to the Sadrist movement in particular as the protector and the maker and sponsor of this repressive government corrupt." The committee went on to say, "The only way they get down the rebellious street is to mix papers and protests. Thus, they can be easily suppressed, as they did previously by stealing the protesters' efforts in previous years." She pointed out that the right place for the Sadrist movement, which has the largest parliamentary bloc is the parliament, and its influence within the state is enough to carry out these reforms from their responsibility and not to demonstrate itself. And therefore we consider this step of the current as a clear hostile step to protect the government and corrupt parties, in order to prevent as many martyrs as possible from the oppressive organs and the Sadrist militia spread throughout the protest areas. We ask all independents to postpone their arrival on the street for further notice in order to protect the revolution and to miss the opportunity for the conspirators against the popular movement. We have nothing in common with the ruling parties and we are not united with them by a protest or sit-in. They bear the blood of more than 6,000 martyrs and wounded people. Urgent Abdul Mahdi's speech to the Iraqi people on the eve of Friday demonstrations October 24, 2019. Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi addressed the Iraqi people late on Thursday night and on the eve of popular demonstrations scheduled for Friday. Abdul Mahdi, we are in front of the system, was not aware of the political forces crisis. Abdul Mahdi, the primary mission is to ensure the highest level of freedoms, security and employment opportunities. Abdul Mahdi, we will conduct ministerial changes away from quotas next week. Abdul Mahdi stresses reduce the salaries of officials to half and give them to the people. Ministers, deputies and special grades agents and schools 2 years. Abdul Mahdi, we will give candidates the federal service to Parliament next week. Abdul Mahdi, the cabinet will bring his proposal to the Parliament to amend the provincial elections law and Parliament. Abdul Mahdi, we seek to form a new commission. Elections are independent. Mahdi must, the application of the law of parties and to prevent armed groups from party work and participate in the elections. Abdul Mahdi, the subordination of all oil exports, including in the region, is oil policy. Report this ad. Abdul Mahdi grants every Iraqi does not have an income 130,000 dinars per month. Abdul Mahdi, a regional conference of Iraq's neighboring countries to prevent the danger of war in the region. Abdul Mahdi, no demonstrations without the approval of the Ministry of Interior. Abdul Mahdi, the agreement on the legalization of all 3 presidencies' offices and make them less expensive. Abdul Mahdi, commission of inquiry is not an executive but to diagnose the events of demonstrations. Abdul Mahdi defends the investigative events of demonstrations and confirms, accept objection. Abdul Mahdi, cut the nomination election age and win the highest votes. Abdul Mahdi, senior officers exemption does not mean out of service and otherwise misunderstanding. Abdul Mahdi, government-supported Parliament's decision to freeze the work of the provincial councils. Abdul Mahdi, call for early elections is a constitutional and unequivocal right and I will be pleased according to the Constitution, either pressure and portrayal of people this is. Abdul Mahdi refuses to resign and promises early elections adventurous. Abdul Mahdi, the resignation of the government means to go to chaos and against reform. Abdul Mahdi criticizes Abadi implicitly and boasts of defeating ISIS. Abdul Mahdi attacks the previous government and loaded large debts on Iraq. Abdul Mahdi, some exploit events to raise prices, we will hold them accountable by law. Abdul Mahdi, we directed to release all detained demonstrators and not to pursue the media. Abdul Mahdi, the armed forces thrown demonstrations a big mistake and we replaced them with law enforcement forces. Demonstrators flocked to Tahrir Square in Baghdad. 10/24/7 hours, 15 minutes, and 45 seconds p.m. Demonstrators flocked to Tahrir Square in Baghdad.